Welcome back to Thompson's Coins, where today we're doing something we haven't done for a little while. Taking a look at what came through the shop this week. So when I first started doing these what came in the shop this week videos, I thought it would be a regular ongoing series. I think I didn't realize how busy I would get through the course of running the shop. It's really interesting because I thought each week I'll just be able to set aside some time and I'll do a little spotlight on what came through the shop, and it has not worked out that way at all. I'm pleased to say that I think I've been pretty consistent with putting out weekly videos for YouTube, but this series has not been quite as regular as I would like it to be. But without further ado, let's take a look at some of the interesting things that came through this week. To start off, it was delightful to see, I think it was the day after I'd filmed the Proclamation coin video highlight, a lady came through with a number of heavily circulated cartwheel tuppence coins. These coins would have been used during the Proclamation period of 1800 in colonial New South Wales. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about the Proclamation period, you can go back and watch, I think it was 2 videos ago, we did a highlight on some of the larger gold coins that would have been circulating during the time. But this is down the other end of the spectrum. These were copper coins. These were large 2-ounce copper coins. The reason we get the name cartwheel is quite literally the appearance is similar to that of a cartwheel. They were large, they were intended to have a similar value to the intrinsic value. When I say intrinsic value, I'm referring to the actual metal value that the coin is composed of. So 2 ounces of copper had approximately 2 pence in value back in 1797. Also interesting to note about these coins is they are only dated 1797. So despite the fact that some may have been produced in the years to come, they were all dated 1797, presumably using the same set of dies, and that would have been, I imagine, a cost-saving measure for the production of these coins. Something else that I like about these coins actually being heavily circulated, as a collector, I love seeing beautifully well-preserved coins, and you really get a feel for the scale of the artistry and things like that from back in the day. However, it's also, for me, equally as nice to see heavily circulated coins, and like I often say, to consider the stories of these coins. Like, if this coin could talk, what was this being used for? Was this something that was used to buy groceries back in the early 1800s in New South Wales? How many hands has this gone through before it ended up, on this little tray here at Thompson's Coins? It's one of those things that I often like to think about, and coins like this, it ties in with so many areas that I enjoy, particularly early Australian numismatic history. And for that reason, I just couldn't resist highlighting these. It tied in with an earlier video that we'd recently done, and it's also just a really interesting coin. More often than not, you'll see them with significant rim damage. And so if you look around the rim of the coin, you'll often see edge knocks and things like that. Because as you can imagine, when you drop a 2-ounce coin and it lands on gravel, the road, whatever surface it is, chances are pretty high that you're going to do some damage. So it's really common to see these circulated examples with quite a lot of signs of wear around the rim. So just something to look out for. And if you're looking for a really nice example and you find one without any rim damage, that's a bit of a rarity in and of itself. All right, now before I get carried away and hijack my own video and turn it into Proclamation Coins Part 2, we'll look at a couple of other interesting sets that came through the shop this week. This here is the official International FIFA Centennial Commemorative Coin Program. So this is a set of coins they produced. I believe it was 3 different set versions. So they did a set of silver coins, a set of gold coins, and then there was finally a set that featured both the gold and the silver. This particular set we have here today features just the gold coins. In total, it's just over 1 ounce of gold, and that is the actual gold weight. So just another little bit of, hopefully, education for you. You may see an acronym AGW when you're looking at coin sets that contain precious metals. Similarly, you may see ASW. These acronyms refer to the actual gold weight and the actual silver weight. Now what that means is a lot of these coins are produced using an alloy, so they won't be pure gold. There'll be a component of copper or something else, usually used to strengthen the coin. And in this set, we have a bit of a variety. There is 1 pure gold coin. The other 3 have varying purities of gold. And so what you will often see is in a listing or something like that, the AGW. So in this instance, the actual gold weight is just over 1 ounce of gold. And that's if you were to quite literally boil it down and have just the pure gold content. However, you will also have a gross weight, which is the weight of the coins inclusive of any other metals and things like that that have been added. Now, despite not being someone who has an avid interest in soccer or football, as it's known as in other parts of the world, I can still appreciate the artistry, and when I see a set like this that features a number of different nations' coins, I quite like that as well. Any type of collaboration where you see multiple countries represented in one coin set, I think makes for a pretty interesting set. And we have here, there are only 2,500 of these that were produced, and it comes in a nice little, I think it's a faux timber box, but it has nice little metal latches and a booklet with a lot of information. So it has information on the 100 years of the FIFA World Cup, as well as there's images of the gold and silver coins in there. And then you have further in here, we have a specification table. So it gives you the information on each of the 4 coins represented here, but it's obviously also going to be listed. So if you were to pick up a set like this, you would generally expect to see the specifications of the coin listed as well, so you know exactly what it is that you're buying. This particular set has 4 coins. We have a Brazilian coin, a French coin, a Swiss coin, as well as a coin from Uruguay. Okay, now on to the main event. This is a pretty cool set. It's something that I don't think, again, doesn't really get as much acknowledgement as it should, because anytime you see as I mentioned earlier, it's nice to see a number of different countries' coins represented in one coin set. But it's also kind of nice to see the Royal Australian Mint and the Perth Mint work together to produce some sets. And that is exactly what happened in the year 2000 in all of the celebrations surrounding the 2000 Olympic Games. There was a set of silver coins that was produced. This was a set of 16 individual coins in a Jarrah timber box. And you see in the lid there the inscriptions of both the Perth Mint and the Royal Australian Mint, as well as 16 different coins there depicting various Australian animals, as well as some of the key landmarks like the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge. So this was an interesting set, and it also came with a booklet here, which I don't think I've ever seen this booklet before. Oh, it's got some promotional images for another set that was produced that we are just about to look at as well. This one's, I think some snails got into this one. There's some signs of wear and tear on the page, but it also has information on both the Perth Mint and the Royal Australian Mint. So a little coin collection program there as well that came in addition to the silver set. Then something else that you may see if you actively collecting gold coins is the 10-gram coins that were issued in these little green boxes. So each one of these there were a total of 8 different, I think there was 8, maybe with a 9th, a Paralympic coin as well. 8 or 9 in total. I will stand corrected in the comments, I'm sure, on the exact production figures. But this was a 10-gram pure gold coin, and often they were purchased individually in these little boxes. But for the serious collector, and this is something that I'm quite excited to highlight because it's a really quite an impressive set. So for your really serious collector, there was this set, which we'll take a look at now. It even has an instruction sheet on how to operate your new collection box. Okay, here it is. This was the Millennium Coin Collection, coins of the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games. And this set is so impressive, specifically the packaging. So we have here a nice timber box which opens up and locks into place. So you have the original 16 silver coins displayed there, as well as the 2, 4, 6, 8. It must have been 8. The 8 individual gold coins as well. This is not just your ordinary everyday presentation box either, because I've seen them before, but I never really handled it, so to speak, and I never knew that if you slide on the bottom, there is a nifty little extra section which contains a booklet as well. So this is, I suspect to be an information book on the collection. So it has like a gold leaf edging as well, and it has a sticker which covers the band to keep it in place. So it's a pretty high-end box. And again, I often am critical of the Royal Australian Mint's packaging, in particular the recycled packaging with the tissue paper. Part of the reason for that is that sets like this exist. So there is absolutely a precedent for the mints, both the Royal Australian Mint and the Perth Mint, to come together and produce sets like this. And I also need to clarify that I generally am not critical of the Perth Mint because they are so innovative and they do so many interesting things with their packaging and their production. The Royal Australian Mint lately just leaves me a little cold, and this is part of the reason. Look at a set like this. There's even, if you open the lid a little further, there's another little latch. This piece of timber comes out, and then you have another booklet certificate here. You have, oh, it looks like, so there's one for the gold coins and then another certificate booklet for the silver coins. Ah, that's nice. And then they both sit snug in there. You can put that back down, and then the box closes like that. So this set is no longer available. It's the type of thing that often with sets like these, I have a lengthy wish list, and a number of clients have expressed interest in various sets or coins that they're chasing. So it's also exciting to get sets like these through the door, because then I get to call those people and let them know that I have this wonderful set ready to go for you. So it's the type of thing, if you are ever chasing something like this, please do feel free to get in touch. You can reach us at info@thompsonscoins.com. Otherwise, you can visit our website, you can check out the new releases section to see what sort of interesting bits and pieces are coming through the store, or subscribe to the channel and you'll keep in the loop and hopefully see some interesting things that you otherwise wouldn't see, and maybe learn something along the way. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for stopping by and checking out some of the things that came through the shop this week. There was a lot more than this, but I thought this was well worth highlighting because it's such a beautiful presentation box. If you enjoy coin collecting, the greatest hobby in the world, feel free to subscribe to the channel or come visit us here. Our headquarters is located at Shop 8 in the Boronia Mall, which is 50 Dorset Square in Boronia. We're open from Tuesday to Friday from 10 till 4, as well as Saturdays from 10 till 3. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.